The day everything changed, the night my father was buried, I thought the worst pain was over. I was wrong. That night became the beginning of my deepest humiliation. The mansion was filled with whispers, fake condolences, and the smell of expensive perfume. Relatives sat in clusters, gossiping about inheritance even before the tears on my mother's portrait had dried. In the center of it all stood my stepmother, Veronica, draped in black silk, diamonds on her neck glistening. Even in mourning, she looked less like a grieving widow and more like a queen ready to seize her throne. She raised her glass and spoke with icy confidence. From this day forward, everything belongs to me. The mansion, the business, the accounts. My husband trusted me with it all. Her son, my stepbrother Anthony, smirked and leaned back lazily in his chair. Guess we're the new rulers now, huh? Some relatives chuckled nervously. Others nodded in agreement. Then her eyes landed on me and you, Alex. She said coldly, "You've always been weak. You never understood responsibility. You will leave this house tomorrow. Take only your clothes. Nothing else belongs to you." The room burst into whispers. Some were shocked. Others looked at me with pity. Anthony added with a cruel grin, "Don't worry, little brother. We'll take good care of everything." Laughter echoed. My face burned with shame. That night I left my father's house with a single suitcase. The fall of the world outside the mansion was merciless. I rented a small, damp apartment where the ceiling leaked when it rained. I ate instant noodles for dinner. I worked late shifts at a bookstore just to survive. Meanwhile, Veronica and Anthony flooded social media with their new life. Champagne parties under golden chandeliers, vacations in Europe, expensive cars parked in the driveway where my old bicycle once stood. Every time I saw their photos, rage boiled inside me. But I remembered my father's last words before he died. "Alex, never fight in anger. The right moment will come. Be patient." So I stayed silent. The torture humiliation didn't stop there. Anthony would send me texts sometimes, photos of the mansion, captions like, "Home sweet home, too bad you'll never see it again." And once, Veronica herself sent me a message. "Your father always knew you were weak. That's why he trusted me, not you. Accept your place." I wanted to scream, to storm back and fight, but I stayed quiet. Because somewhere deep down, I trusted my father. He was never careless. If he truly believed in her lies, he wouldn't have looked at me with those eyes in his final days. Eyes that said trust. Me, the QL, 6 months later, when I was at work stacking dusty books, my phone rang. "Alex," the voice said, "this is Mr. Harris, my father's lawyer. I need you to come to my office immediately. There's something your father left only for you." My hands shook. I rushed across the city, heart pounding. The secret file, Mr. Harris greeted me with his usual calm expression. He placed a black leather folder on the desk. "This," he said, "was your father's last instruction. Told me to give it to you when you were ready." I opened it slowly. Inside were documents, thick bundles of contracts, property deeds, and bank records. And then, a handwritten letter. I unfolded it with trembling fingers. "My son Alex, if you are reading this, it means Veronica has shown her true face. She may fool others, but not me. I knew the day would come when she and Anthony would try to steal everything. But I prepared for this." My breath caught. 70% of the company's shares are already in your name, hidden under a trust fund. You alone have access. The mansion, too, is legally tied to those shares. The moment you claim them, their empire collapses. They thought they won, but the real heir is you. Tears blurred my vision. My father hadn't abandoned me. He had been planning my revenge all along. I clenched the papers in my hand and whispered, "Thank you, Dad. Now it's my turn." The return 1 week later, Veronica hosted a grand dinner for business partners inside the mansion. Music played. Crystal glasses clinked. Laughter echoed under the chandelier. Anthony strutted around in a designer suit, shaking hands, bragging about deals he had no part in. And then, the doors opened. I walked in. The room fell silent. Conversation stopped. Forks froze in midair. "Alex?" Anthony muttered, his smirk vanishing. Veronica's smile cracked. "What are you doing here?" stepped forward calmly, a folder in my hand, taking back what's mine. The confrontation, mister? Harris followed behind me, placed the official papers on the table. These documents prove Alex owns 70% of the company and has controlling rights over the estate. Veronica, your authority is invalid. Gasps erupted. The businessmen exchanged shocked looks. Some even smiled, sensing power shift. Veronica's face drained of color. She slammed her hand on the table. This is a lie. He forged this. Mr. Harris remained calm. Everything is legally signed, notarized, and locked by your husband. Years ago, you have no case. Anthony jumped to his feet. This is ridiculous. He's nothing. Can't run a company. I looked straight into his eyes and said, maybe I was nothing to you, but I was everything to him. The revenge eye turned to the staff standing nervously at the walls. From today, I declared, this mansion is under my authority. Anyone loyal to Veronica and Anthony may leave. Those who stay will be treated with respect. The servants who had suffered under Veronica's cruelty bowed immediately. Relief washed over their faces. Veronica's mask shattered. She screamed, threatened, begged, but nobody listened. Finally, she collapsed into her chair, trembling, her empire reduced to dust in minutes. Anthony stormed out, slamming the door. So hard the chandeliers rattled. The twisters, the guests whispered among themselves. Mr. Harris handed me one last sealed envelope. This, he said, was your father's final letter. He wanted you to read it tonight. I opened it, and my father's words stared back at me. Son, revenge is not just about taking back what was stolen. It's about showing them that cruelty cannot win. Veronica thought wealth was power, but true power is dignity. Use what I've left you to build, not destroy. That will be my true revenge through you. I swallowed hard. Tears burned my eyes. The room watched in silence as I folded the letter and placed it in my pocket. I looked at Veronica, broken and silent, and said, this isn't just about me. It's about proving that goodness outlasts greed. The ending that night. I stood alone in my father's study, the same place he used to guide me as a boy. The golden lamps glowed warmly. The shelves smelled of old books and leather. I placed both letters on his desk and whispered, I kept your promise, Dad, and I'll keep building just like you wanted. The mansion was mine, the company was mine, but more than that, my dignity was mine again. And for the first time in months, I smiled. Because revenge wasn't just sweet, it was justice.